Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I'm Whitney White, I'm the Development Director, and I just want to thank you all for being here tonight on this amazing evening of celebration here at Healing Transitions. First, I'd like to thank the staff and participants for working so hard all day to make this amazing evening come to life. So big hand and applause for them. Yeah. I would also like to thank the Board of Directors and Board of Trustees for believing in our mission and all of the hard work you do. I believe there might be a Board of Trustee member. If you'd like to stand so we can recognize you. So this week has not been the easiest of weeks for all of us, right? It's been hard. So I'd like to start off the evening by taking a moment of silence for those that are grieving and those that we've lost. Thank you. So spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. So every day I get to come to work and see amazing examples of bravery and compassion and vulnerability. And it's beautiful. I'm surrounded by miracles all day long. And so I would just like for us all to remember that during this difficult time where things are feeling really hard in our community, that there are good things happening. There are miracles happening. And there are people working hard and doing amazing things for each other and for our community. So with that, I would like to go ahead and turn it over to John Hubbard, and we'll get this party started.
Thank you, Wendy. And I'd like to welcome everybody to the 142nd Silver Chip Ceremony. Definitely speaking on miracles. I try to remind the guys here every day. My name is John. I am the planning room lead here, working in programs. And every day I get to work with living miracles, because every day that we spend sober, it's a miracle, because it's not our natural state being addicts and alcoholics. And so through the grace of God, we were able to do this. Tonight, we are gathered to recognize some gentlemen that have been through a lot. And I'm proud of each of them, and I'm proud to call each of them a friend. Having worked closely with all of them at some point. And so we'll go ahead and get started. The first gentleman that I want to mention is David Raines. Mr. Raines is silver tip number 990. Okay. He spent 388 days here. during that time, he went to 515 meetings. Okay, some of the help he got, he had to write a letter to his Met One self to kind of share the story. Okay, he wrote a letter on how to find structure in chaos, because that's what we live in when we're in addiction, is chaos. He's one of our lucky guys that got to spend some quality time in quarantine, as he's one of our COVID survivors here. He's also one of our peer mentors. And as we say, once a peer mentor, always a peer mentor. That being said, I noticed I mentioned some of the help that was given by his community, but we won't go into what he was given in the planning room, because what goes on in the planning room stays in the planning room. There we go. Without further ado, I give you David Raines.
First of all, I'd like to thank my higher power, who I choose to call God, for the opportunity to be here on today. It's truly by His grace and mercy that I stand here before you. I often think back on how my life was prior to coming to the healing transitions, and to be honest, it wasn't a life. It was simply a life of trying to get more in ways and means, and so on and so forth, robbing Peter to pay Paul, taking from everybody who I knew, family and friends. I tried a number of different programs in the past, but none of them seemed to work, because I always got in the way. My self-centeredness, self-pity, self-loathing. I mean, life was all about me, so I thought. And it just continued to crash. It was a roller coaster for many, many years. Until one day I just kind of, I guess I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And a friend of mine mentioned this place called the Healing Transition. I didn't know anything about it, so I decided to make a call. And fortunately, I spoke to a young lady who was full of compassion and understanding, by the name of Miss Jamie Elk. I hope you don't mind me saying your name. And she said she would take a chance on me coming to this program. And I assured her that I would give her my all. I assured her on that day on the phone that if I was accepted here, that I would make her proud. I was, like I said, I was tired of the life that I was living. So coming here and doing what I was asked to do wasn't a problem. Being in the military at one time, I mean, I was used to some type of structure, but just life, doing things my own way. So to come here and have somebody tell me what time to get up and what time to go to bed and where we eat, where classes were, was comforting for me. That gave me the opportunity to learn and to be willing to take some suggestions and from some people who might know a little more than I thought I knew. The time that I spent here was the most incredible time that I can imagine. Often, we get here and we're ready to go and we're thinking about what we're missing out on the outside and so on and so forth. This was home for me. I really felt that I was home. I really felt that I was learning and getting what I needed to get in terms of recovery dynamics and breaking the steps down and all of that stuff. It gave me a chance to realize that I had a disease. It gave me a chance to realize that it wasn't a moral deficiency or a lack of willpower. I had a disease, and I was able to understand that and learn about it and accept it. And for that, I'm truly grateful for that in terms of this program. Have an opportunity to work in the planning room and all of the other jobs around here, IT security and all these other different jobs were very, very good for me also. It helped me to grow, helped me to learn, helped me to look at myself. I think about my family at times, often. And I'm very, very fortunate that throughout my whole life, my ups and downs, all the turmoil, all the chaos that I created, they've always been there for me. My mother's here on today, my sister, my daughter. My mother has always opened the doors up to me, regardless of what I was going through. Her door was always open. I might not be able to stay there for too long, but I could always come in there. And that was always comforting to know. My beautiful sister, every time 2001 Zoom meetings came on, you could almost rest assured she was gonna be there with me also. You know, and that meant the world to me to look up and see my family and be able to say hi and all this good stuff. My beautiful daughter Angel's here today. Unfortunately, I've been estranged from her life for many, many years. But fortunately, and thanks to the healing transitions, that relationship is being rebuilt. We're starting over again, and I love her more than anything in this world. We love her. Now that I'm trying to move forward in life, I have a wonderful friend, and she's got a lot of years in recovery. It's keeping me on focus and on the right track, and I couldn't be happier with it. And last, there was a friend of mine who passed away prior to my coming to the healing transition. A month or so prior to my coming. That was the catalyst and kind of pushing me in the direction in which I needed to go. I used and abused that woman for many, many years, and all she ever wanted was for me to get my life on track. And I talked to her daughter while she was on her deathbed, and her daughter said, you know, Dave, give mama some, leave her alone. You know, you did enough damage in the past. Just get your life together for her. And for her, I do this also. In closing, I just want to leave you with a little something that I wrote. A lot of you, or some of you may have heard it before, but it's very instrumental to me. It's something that I not only wrote, but I try to live it and think about it on a daily basis. It's easy to sit back and criticize, pass judgment, pass the buck, and spread lies. Shun responsibility and minimize the fact that we all have a problem. But if we're really here to achieve a goal, then we must first believe, stop trying to deceive our brothers and sisters. In the past, we were known to procrastinate. Take the truth, turn it around, we'll say exaggerate. Never taking the time to contemplate if what we were doing was right or wrong. But now it's time to maximize. Open up our eyes and realize that there's no more time to fantasize because life is passing us by. Just remember what brought us all together. And with that in mind, we'll make it through stormy weather. Simply look to your left and or your right and know that we're all trying to win this fight. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, the next gentleman that I want to introduce has grown to be a friend. He's a fellow musician that I'm looking forward to performing with at the Art of Recovery coming up. He was a unique individual while he was here. Let's just put it that way. Mr. Eric Batson. Yeah. He is silver chipper 991. He was here for 388 days. Made 600 meetings. He's a meeting monster. And some of the help he received. He had to write a letter to the silver chippers on why he didn't call. Oh goodness, yeah, he had to write about why he gave money to a participant for smokes. Got to be sleep monitor. Wrote on body language shows, I don't care. Front and center for 2 weeks. My favorite was he had to spend 3 days in costume for the Nights of Lights. And he wrote on self-centeredness is the root of my problem. Mr. Batson is one of those gentlemen that he didn't give up. He left for a little bit and then he came back. And he is also a peer mentor and was pivotal in bringing a lot of the guys in here working through the intake here of the planning room. He's somebody I view as a friend and I'm really proud of him. I give you Eric Batson.
And this team probably about 40 times. Trying to get in there. All the other staff. And guys that came here with, that's a big part of it. And if I can say anything, just take this.
Congratulations, Derek. Now, the next gentleman I want to speak on is also somebody that was referred to us by our partner with Trillium from down east. He's a gentleman that has been in and out. And for lack of a better term, he is definitely a piece of work. He and I have had many spirited talks, and I have become good friends over time. I know he was involved with the Got Your Six meeting a good bit, which we appreciate deeply. He was here for a total of 641 days. Did 761 meetings. Detox cleanup with some of his help. Writing on overcoming anger. Wow, shocker. My favorite one that I gave him, how receiving a concern should be considered an act of love. He turned purple at that one. And why do I let people rent space in my head? I am so proud of this man for never giving up. He kept going, and he did not give up on recovery. My good friend, Ricky Rice.
Give it to him, Rick.
Finally.
Took a while. A man in Carteret County saw something in me I hadn't seen myself. And he told me, give me 2 days and I'll find you a place to go. And fortunately for me, it was Healing Transitions. I came here July 24th, 2019. Stayed until March 2020, what they call the COVID. But one of the reasons I got here was Miss Jamie Ellis and Trillium. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here before you. When I came here, this place was being ex-military as well as David was, having some structure really wasn't a problem for me. And it was kind of the last house on the block. So I said, hell, why not? Let me give it a try. Let me stay here and learn something about this disease of alcoholism, which I didn't realize it was until I sat down in these chairs and got educated. And the most important thing I've learned is being able to reconnect with my higher power. I'd stepped away for a long time. In the military, you work hard, you play hard. And that just happened to follow me up until the point I came here and found out what recovery is. That I did not know. And I am so blessed that I had the opportunity to take advantage of this program that they offer here. It's taught me a lot about myself. And that's one of the hardest things I've had to go through. And you will, if you're involved in this program, is taking a look at yourself. That was probably, and it still is kind of challenging at times. But, the people I've met here, the friends I've made, the education I've got for my disease and recovery, I pray every day that it will take me forward in my life because I got some beautiful people in it now. The brother sitting right here, my sponsor. And when I walk with this lady, I am a better man. I got my two youngest.
What's up, Rodney?
Got my two youngest sons back in my life. They're 25 and 30. Still working on my 41-year-old, but in his time. So these promises that we read on page 83, 84, Sometimes they come quickly, sometimes they come slowly, but they will materialize work for them.
That's right.
So thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, lady. Well, I would be remiss, and in a lot of trouble with my esteemed colleague, Mr. William Dickens, who is currently probably about 1/3 of the way through the honeydew list his wife has given him on his vacation. If I did not bring up the subject of change makers. As it costs us approximately $58 a day to feed and house each of our participants for 1 day. So based on the amount of time that this group has put in, I feel confident that there's going to definitely be some change making going on to give back. I know I'm a change maker. If you are alumni, I encourage you to become a change maker, and I encourage anybody to take part. This is an amazing place. It saved my life. It's saving lives every day, and it is well worth the effort. So that being said, the next gentleman up, Mr. Jimmy Hicks. Yeah. Silver tip number 993. Now, Mr. Hicks was here 329 days, went to 381 meetings. And I started looking through his file, trying to find where he received help. When we say flying under the radar, this man knew where the radar installations were. And somehow or another, he made it through community without receiving any help, but he did go into the planning room. Yeah. Good. He received help there. Yeah. So, just a side note, he does have the record for the most visitation requests in the slide. And his favorite chapter in the big book is to the wives. Because every single request was. So, which I'm glad that you were able to. And so that's awesome. He is also one of our COVID survivors going on the COVID POA back in May. So I'm glad that you're here with us. And he has also been one of the peer mentors here coming through. So far, pretty much everybody's been a peer mentor. I think I've got one guy tonight that has not come through the planning room. So without further ado, I give you Mr. Radar Dodger. Oh, that's a nice shot.
When you're in the planning room, you wear a lanyard with peer mentor on it and your detox picture. And I still have that detox picture. I hang it beside my bed so I can look at it every now and then to remind myself what can happen, where these bad choices can lead me. Before I had gotten here, I had no hope, no love for anything, and no will to live. I was trapped in a cycle of hate and pain, and there was no way to escape it. So I believed. I had fallen down into a level of despair that was beginning to consume me. It led me to doing things I never thought I would do and continue to just get worse. Because as we know, when we live in addiction, it only gets worse, never better. By the end, I had stabbed myself in the stomach, and I was intentionally trying to overdose to escape life and to escape myself. I believe my life to be nothing short of a tragedy. But right before coming here, I had someone tell me that I'm not a tragedy, I'm a redemption story in the making. It took me a while to realize that this was true, that I could make that happen. I was scared when I first got here, but there were quite a few guys that went through this with me that were there when I needed them. From quarantine, even now after finishing the program, We remain really good friends, and I know I can count on them. I would like to wholeheartedly thank them who have helped me through tough times, the staff here who helped keep this place running, my sponsor who has given me courage when I needed it, and last but not least, my wife who stood beside me more than I could possibly ask her for. Before coming here, I felt like I was suffocating in the ashes of everything I was burning down around me. But today I can finally breathe. Thank you.
Congratulations. Oh, this next guy. Oh, goodness. Silver chipper number 994, Mr. Philip Lewis.
Yeah.
He was here a total of 225 days, went to 186 meetings. Okay, he kind of rocketed through here. Some of his help, he got to move back to the shelter, which is always fun. Had to write 2,000 words in order to recover, 1,000 words on entitlement, wrote on self-will and self-esteem, and then he had to step up in B&G a few times. He left and came back to get into compliance so he could silver chip this program. He comes up here, he donates his time, he volunteers to facilitate classes and talk to guys and give them encouragement. He works his recovery every single day. He was and still is a peer mentor. Coming up here, living it. And I can't thank him enough for that. He's really pulled us out of the fire a few times, and he keeps giving. And by giving, he receives. And so I give you Philip Lewis.
A lot of y'all here. About this photo. This is from 2011, and I came into the program then for like 4 months, and I wasn't ready. I never needed to go to another program because in that 4 months, I knew that the solution was here. 10 years of my life went by after that. I made a lot of bad decisions in that time. And there was always the gravity of this place pulling me back towards it. I caught some pretty big felony charges, and I got blessed. Then I violated that probation and asked for one more chance, and I got mandated here because I asked for it. And I rushed my way through the program, and I feel like I missed out on a lot of things, and I was almost like not sure that I was wanting sobriety. But when I relapsed, that whole 6 weeks, I was never more positive that I wanted this in my life. And I think between like some of the guys and Justin and Garrity, sent somebody to come get me and brought me back here. And I'll never forget that. That open door policy is like, it's crazy as many times as it takes, right?
That's right.
I'm just eternally grateful for that. I love teaching classes because if something ever happened and I made a bad decision and went back out, I might have taught the guy that might save my life. So I'm okay with that. It's worth every bit of time that I spend up here. So I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
Congratulations. This next gentleman, silver chipper number 995, Mr. Josh McKenzie. Just snuck in under the wire. Glad you made it, man. I heard you had a little trouble on the way, so I'm glad you're here. Josh was here a total of 448 days, went to 518 meetings, some of the help. He was a haul shore monitor, which I think we know what that means. Somebody didn't do their haul shore. He had to write on stay alert and stay alive. Had to write an apology to the food bank and to our development staff for missing a commitment. So, and he was a valuable member of the planning room as a peer mentor. The changes in this man, he is a completely different person from the first day I met him. I am intensely proud of the journey you've made. And I'm honored to call you friend. I give you Josh McKinney. Yeah.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank God and everybody behind the scenes that work here. Y'all do a lot more than what we give y'all credit for that a lot of people don't see. I met a lot of good guys here, a lot of guys that I would call my friends, and those people that are strong in recovery, that influenced me in my life to, that gave me hope to do this thing. I found a new way to live, something I had given up and didn't have when I first got here. I didn't come up here and rehearse anything, and this place gave me a new life. I still face obstacles today, like I ran over a C2 screw and got a flat tire. I had to make adjustments just to make it here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this place gave me. It gave me a way to overcome obstacles in my life and how to handle them in a healthy manner, and build relationships and to trust people and love people again, and mostly involve myself. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have that walking in the door, and I get an opportunity to help someone else and just get through things in life without having to pick up and change the way I feel, and just keep trying to improve myself and not just settle for what I think is best for me. You know what I'm saying? I told myself I wasn't worth living. I try to take my life every day, and I can stand here and happily live a life and influence other people that they have a purpose here. My purpose is to share my story and help someone else make it through it. And that's what I got for everyone here and the staff, and people that I call my brothers. Y'all gave me hope. Y'all gave me this life that I'm living today, and hopefully someone will hear my story. That's like, I didn't think I'd make it here. That I want to be that guy there on that podium right now. That they'll just stay another day and another day, and before you know it, your life will be changed before you can blink your eyes. That's really all I got to say. Thank you for that.
That's my man right there. Yeah.
Congratulations, John. Next up, my oh my. Silver chipper number 996. One of the habits I've gotten into as planning room lead is I like to bring problem children in, people that are challenging to be around and deal with, that are opinionated, that are stubborn and filled with self-will. I can tell you that this next individual, I would get dizzy standing next to him because the world was revolving around him. Alex Watkins Mr. Watkins was here for 265 days. He kind of got through pretty quick too. But he didn't get away from us. 344 meetings, and he got probably the most vicious help I've ever heard. He had to pet Eddie for 3 minutes. Yeah, surprisingly, he still has all of his appendages. During his time here, he stumbled, but he didn't give up. Came back, he stayed with us, and he fought through things and kept plugging because he had a commitment and a love for recovery. And he stuck with it. He was a peer mentor, a valuable part of the planning room. Helped teach a lot of guys coming in how to be peer mentors. And I'm proud to call him a fellow staff member, as he is now working in RES staff. And super guy, love him to death. I give you Alex Watkins.
He's just trying to figure some stuff out. I really don't even know where to start. You know, I had a problem, but I didn't want to admit that. And so to further myself from having to face that, I would just continue to use substances and ignore them. It was never me. It was always my circumstance and everyone around me, and that's what I chose to blame. All the things that were going wrong in my life. So how I got here really is that people that were trying to help me, but ultimately were enabling me because they loved me and didn't know how to say no. Yeah, I made them cross a breaking point. I had lost job after job after job. I had just worn out my welcome and tested every nerve and broke every straw that I could. So what happened was, the breaking point was I got into this wreck. This is just a quick summary, right? I got into this wreck and instead of calling 911, checking on the person that was involved in the wreck with me, I immediately called my dealer and said, dude, about 20 minutes from you, I need you to get here before the police arrive so that I can get that back. And he did. So about a week or two later, I get this phone call from my wife. Tells me they were going on this trip, and we hop on the highway, and I'm like, whoa. Something's not right. So I'm asking where we're going. She informs me that she's found this place that I'm gonna go to. This is after I've already spent the year previous in 2 other rehabs. Got kicked out of one for using. Decided to be a great idea to technology in rehab. Got really friendly with the wrong people and got drug tested. Got dropped off at a McDonald's with no phone, nowhere to go. Thank God for my dad who knows someone everywhere and had somebody come and pick me up at McDonald's to make sure that I was safe. The second place that I went to, I finished, but decided it would be a good idea to have drugs waiting on me when I got back. What I did was I lied to my family, lied to my wife, I lied to everybody that I could, and gave off this facade that I was sober. I'd gaslight and tell people when they would accuse me of being high, how dare you? Look how hard I'm working on my recovery. Look how sober I am, dude. As I'm nodding out to a mashed potatoes at a dinner table. So I get in the car. I don't know if anybody in here knows Dennis Tripp. His wife is in the car as well. That day is really dark. I was very, very mean. A lot of people think I'm a really, really happy and nice person. I have a really hard side. And I will tell, well, you know, everyone knows, but I'll tell you about yourself really quick. And it's way worse when I don't have those inhibitions. Those inhibitions are lowered. And so, anyways, I jumped out of the car on the highway and then just proceeded to blame the people that left me on the side of the highway to prove the point that it was their fault and they needed to come pick me up. So I agreed. I was like, you know what? It was told to me that I was going to detox. I was like, cool, I'll do it. I'll get out and everything will be copacetic. Well, I got here, right? Loaded. A couple of snacks, and I made sure that I had to get food before we got here because I had to go in the bathroom, put a needle on my arm. So I got here, don't really remember that first day, right? The second day, I was on the phone the entire day, trying to get people to answer, trying to get someone to pick me up, trying to find a way out of here. Then I was like, you know what, I'll just get through detox, it's fine. Russell kept telling me that there was no program bed, so I was like, well, I'm gonna use that. And that's COVID. Turns out there was a program bed by the time I got out of quarantine. I was so sick those first couple of weeks, dude. I really didn't engage with anybody. I did write a couple thousand words on wearing a hood inside the building. Thanks, Rayford. You know, the pet the cat thing is interesting because what happened was I got sent back, right? And when that happened, I spent an extra 8 weeks in that one. I filled up probably like 2.5 notebooks in that one and that two. I wrote a lot of words. So by the time I got back to CTR, I was like, all right, I know what I'm supposed to do here. And I did it. My time here, right? And getting sent back was probably the best thing that happened to me while I was here. It made me realize that it was this, I guess it would be considered a spiritual awakening or experience, whatever you want to call it. What happened is at some point during that time period, I realized that it was my fault. Like, it finally came to me that it was my fault that I was in that predicament. It was my fault why I was here. It was my fault for everything. It turns out that even without the drugs, I'm a liar, I'm a manipulator, and I do what I want when I want to do it. So what had to happen was I had to also get humble, which is hard, right?
Yeah.
So I had to ask for help, and I had to take the suggestions that people were giving me. The interesting thing is if you don't have a record of people with media help, which is like, you know, speak when spoken to for a week, check them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a tough one.
Yeah. And then what happens in the planning and stays in the planning, thank God. Because
Yeah.
I got checked real quick. Time here was great. It gave me purpose, it gave me meaning. It made me realize I was told that I was worth it. I was enough, and I deserved just like anyone else to be in recovery, be sober, and to not have to wake up every day and put food on my arm. Just a function. That I can have fun without those things in my life, and that, you know, people can like me for who I actually am. I can be my authentic self and still have fun. So today, I work here. I used to make jokes about, you know, they have this way of getting people to stay here, man. I'll never be that guy. I'm getting heck away from this place as soon as I can. And I guess I'm that guy. I drank the Kool-Aid real quick. But no, really, I love this place. It's having so much. It really has. I wholeheartedly believe in this program. I believe that it saved my life. I know that if, God forbid, I ever use it again, I'll die 100%. I just will. No question about it. And I'd like to thank Josh, my sponsor. One of the first people that gave me words here. He's not wearing a mask. If he's not wearing one right now, then. This guy just really taught me a lot. Helped me learn how to get in touch with a higher power. He's definitely taught me how to stay humble and to figure out what I want. He's kind of a mediator in that way, and it really helps. The rest of my family, my dad, and my mom, best thing they ever did was, I decided, I was so embarrassed, right? I didn't call them for the first couple weeks I was here. When I did call them, like, hey, dude, you moved to Texas. Okay, well, oh, guess I'm not going home. My wife, she's had every reason to not talk to me, not do anything, have anything to do with me. I pushed everything that I could, for the decisions that I'm making. And yeah, I don't even have words for it, to be honest. I just thank you. Thanks, guys.
Wow. This is a guy I honestly never thought I'd be talking about. For lack of a better term, senior relapse. Silver chip number 998, Mr. Santiago Vargas. Yeah. Santiago's first time here was back in 2015. And he was here for about 3 months and said, nope, not gonna do this because I'm not done yet. And fortunately, he was able to make it back. And he came back in February 2021 and promptly got sent to the hotel with COVID. At that point, he left. He returned to go on to overnight, into Met 1, then back to detox. Made it to Met 2, then back to detox. And something at that point seemed to shift. I think it was the length of time we had you in the kitchen, and just, we never gave up on you. You're an example of what we do here. We do not ever give up on someone. Ever. Everyone deserves recovery. So, Mr. Vargas managed to be here 466 days. Let me reiterate, change makers. Okay. Yeah, might want to toss in a little extra for that extra detox time too. 491 meetings. Some of us help. He had to write on, is he going to be a sweet, sour, or salty taco? Had to facilitate a 3 p.m. class, which actually was probably the scariest thing he could have ever received. He is not the guy to put up in front of a bunch of people. He is terrified by it. He was the polar bear for 3 nights at the Night of Lights. He had to write a letter of forgiveness to himself and burn it. Had to meet and greet trudgers. He was the ping pong monitor for 2 weeks. After a ping pong incident. And he wrote on self-will. He also was a peer mentor and was an intake specialist here that brought a great many guys in here and saved a lot of lives in doing so. Love this guy. He's a phenomenal person. And I'm real proud that he stuck around and we never gave up on him either. But most importantly, he didn't give up on himself. I give you Santiago Vargas.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so they ask us, what our life was like before we came to Healing Transitions. I mean, it was completely unmanageable. I, couldn't keep a job. I couldn't keep any family around, couldn't keep any friends around. Nobody, couldn't keep an apartment, didn't have anywhere to stay. Just things just became completely unmanageable. It wasn't until I was talking to my therapist, I didn't know what to do, and he said, "Get your ass to HT," and that's what I did. I was still running on self-will and thinking I could do this program the way I wanted to do this program, or the way I thought it should be done, and that led to 6 months of me getting sent back to Met 1 and to overnight, back to Met 2 and to overnight. I think I was the only one in this program that was drug screened before going into each part of the program, into Met 1, into Met 2, into CTR 1. But like John was saying, the 30-day contract that Mr. Dickens gave me in the kitchen gave me the opportunity to start working with Chef Cat. That's really where it all started. And it, she was a big part of my life. That working in the kitchen, working in a planning room, doing intakes had to been the most the biggest growing experience in this program, where I grew the most. And then, I just kept on from there. I started, I came to realization, kind of like what Alex was saying about getting sent back and just constantly, just not doing what you hear, doing the program your way, getting sent back. And then I had to take a really hard look at myself and all these, everybody goes around saying, "Why are you here?" And you got to take a good hard look at yourself, and you start, really can't live out there. Why am I? It's those are those questions that you have to really ask yourself, or I had to ask myself. So I started taking a look at myself and taking suggestions and doing things one day at a time, and working in the kitchen, and I kind of found my place in there. After my 30-day commitment, I got into CTR 1 and did the clothing closet for 2 weeks, and then Kathy wanted me to come in and be the cook. So another 3 months in there, and just kept building on it. Those 24 hours at a time, they kept adding up, and before you know it, my next journey was into the planning room. And I was trying to avoid that. Like, I did not want to go into the planning room. I tried to coming up with every excuse not to go in there. Go work at the thrift store, or go work in. Didn't want to go be a steward because Kathy was. But and then it was Jamie. She came up and made some suggestions and kind of encouraged me to do intakes. And I was like, all right, reluctantly a little bit, but I went in and I tried it out, and that kind of took off, man. Eric was he actually trained me in there, and I kind of made it my own thing. And yeah, I mean, that's a serious serious job. I mean, you really have to take that serious. And I think why I thrived in it is because I was able to, because I do a lot better communicating one-on-one or in a small group of guys, and I can express myself a little bit better and share my experience, strength, and hope through this program, and let you know that if I can do it, you can do it. And you can't. Got to get what you can out of this program while you're here. You know, learning these 12 steps, or finding a sponsor first, going through the 12 steps. Working with others, working with other addicts and alcoholics. I mean, that's where it was so beneficial in there when I was able to help others. It helped me out so. And now I'm finally completed the 12 steps last week. And my sponsor's like, now meetings, I gotta start raising my hand. So now that's that next step for me. So I think that'll be great to work one-on-one with somebody. And just do what was done for me, you know, give back what was freely given to me. But you know, I have a good job now. I got a place to stay. I got goals and dreams now that I can go confidently, you know, thinking that you know, I can possibly obtain it if I just keep doing this thing one day at a time. But I want to thank you guys, staff, and yeah, Dickens and John and everybody for never giving up on me. Thank you, guys.
All right, and our final silver chipper for the evening, number 999.
999.
Arnold Benson. Friend brought him here. He spent 570 days here. Made 546 meetings, some of his help. He facilitated classes on forgiveness and self-forgiveness. Had to write on forgiveness of himself. 2 weeks of daily affirmations, and then the infamous silent roster check, where you have to go around and just listen to people, which is very powerful. He served his commitment in enterprise, riding around helping alumni and people, the thrift store, and riding with Jarvis, and gave back. He was a man of fewer words while he was here, but he was consistent throughout the time and always strode forward in his recovery, and really proud of him. I give you Arnold Benson. Yeah.
Great.
All right, AV.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody.
Love you, man.
I want to love you too. I want to thank God, my higher power, because you know this journey right here wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't decided to just turn my will and my life over to God. Because you know the things that I was doing was just despicable. You know, the things that you do for drugs, the people that you hurt. You know, I had a wonderful family. I still have a wonderful family. And I just want to, you know, say that, you know, that old Arnold is gone. It's all about living life to its fullest. And I want to say a special thanks once again to my higher power. To my beautiful daughter, my ride or die chick. Jasmine, Janelle, Jared, Jermaine, my special friend, Yolanda, and to the three people. All right, yeah. Oh, that I love so much and I miss so dearly. But they walk with me every day through this journey. My mother, my son, my children's mother.
I love y'all. Couldn't have done it without you. And thanks to the Healing Transitions, Mr. Hubbard, Chris, and to everyone here. You kept me sober. I may have not been a man of many words, but you know, being able to talk and to listen, that's a big part. That's a big part of helping someone, because you never know what's on a person's mind, and all they want you to do is to take time out and to listen and to hear them out. And I try to ask God every day when I pray, hey, dear Lord, just, you know, whatever I can do for you, please let me know at any given time of the day, morning, noon, or night. And for me, or for you to use me as your vessel to help someone, to inspire someone, to let someone know that, hey, they're not here, they're not walking on this journey alone. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. And thank you, Healing Transition.
Well, let's take the time to say we need to give all of our new alumni a big hand.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Sexton. I'm the transition case manager here at the Men's. Also alumni number 544. So I work with those individuals that have completed the educational portion. They're either doing a commitment, they're looking for employment, or they're working and saving money for housing. So what we're going to do is we're going to recognize those individuals that have made it to that part of the program since the last ceremony. They're going to get a couple things. They're going to get a copy of their detox picture. We also have a tradition here at the Men's. The thought behind it is that when we're out there in our addiction, we lost a lot of our marbles. This is their opportunity to get one of them back. Okay, so they're going to come up, get the detox picture, and get their marble. Okay. All right, so the first man we want to recognize is Mr. Roy Lawhon.
Yeah, you kind of cleaned
up. Okay,
Kirk Long. Marcus Payton. Daniel Minor. Seneca Wallace. Seneca Friend. Sorry about that, Seneca. So we do have a couple more orders of business. Last month, we had the Fred Barber Legacy of Service Awards. One of the recipients wasn't able to be here in person last month. So what we're gonna do, his name's Dr. Phil Hilsman. We're gonna show a short video and then we're gonna present him with his award, okay?
Hi, I'm Kat Thomas, the Health Services Coordinator at the men's and women's campuses. Dr. Hillsman has been volunteering his time in Healing Transitions Clinic since about 2002. Initially at the men's campus, and then once the women's campus opened, he began volunteering over there as well. He has donated psychiatric services to participants who encountered barriers to being seen by the mental health community. He's a champion for recovery and a great supporter of the Healing Transitions mission. Dr. Hilsman has recently become a mentor to several HT staff members as well. I'm honored to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Phil Hilsman.
Well, it's a joy to volunteer here because this place is amazing. 999 silver chippers, that's incredible. I've watched this place develop and grow over 20 years plus, and you know, for me to give a little time, well, anyone who gives time and resources to this place, it's just multiplied many-fold. And there are so many who have had their lives saved here and have become happily and usefully whole, like people said. I want to recognize or single out 3 people that were kind of models for me. One was Fred Barber, who just poured himself into this place. Another is Dr. Wilmer Betts, who personally modeled service and volunteering his time and his enthusiasm here. And Chris Budnick, whose leadership and personal friendship has really been a model for me. So thanks very much.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's Taylor, and I am the Director of Detox Services, and I get to acknowledge a gentleman for 1 year of service to our men's detox. Freddie, he did his commitment in detox, and pretty much from day one, we knew we wanted to steal him. We knew that we wanted him to become staff at HT, and he is just a rock star, and you're amazing, and you're gonna do amazing things, but selfishly, I hope we get to keep you, so congratulations. Yeah.
You got to say something. You got to say something. Appreciate it.
Wow, what a night, right? So good, 999, can you believe that? I mean, 999 miracles, blows my mind. It is a testimony of when you will just get out of your own way, miracles can happen. Miracles can definitely happen. Love it. It's just a testimony. Don't leave before the miracle does happen. I mean, and all of you did that. And I'm so proud of you. And I love my job. I love that I get to be a part of it every day. It's an honor, truly, to walk along beside all of you, making this huge change in your life. So thank you. Just wanted to let you all know, you heard John mention Art of Recovery. It is next Wednesday at Dick's Chapel. You are all invited to come and watch alumni, participants, and staff display their creative talents. There's going to be music, food trucks, spoken word, surprise performance. The participants and NC Theater are cooking up. We have 18 featured artists, a raffle, a silent auction, and it's all to raise money so that we get to do this. It's pay what you can tickets, so suggested price of $58 because it pays for a day of service. Again, if anybody would like to become a change maker and start giving back, you can see me after or stop in anytime and we'll get you set up with that. $58 goes a long way in helping someone find recovery. So I hope to see you all next Wednesday evening from 69 Dick's Chapel. And again, thank you all so much for being a part of this and making this happen. We appreciate you.